So, hi, hello. My name is Anja Milosavljevic, and I'm going to be your host today. We are going to talk with Jana. Jana is from Estonia, and she is a tech girl. So, hope you're going to have a great time with the two of us. Jana, hi, hello. How are you?
Hello, absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for accepting my invitation to participate in this project. I think it's very important for the people in Serbia, but not only in Serbia, in the world, to hear the voice of a lady that is so successful like you are. So, can you tell us something about yourself? What do you do? What's your educational background? What are your hobbies, interests, and something like that?
Okay, by education, I'm environmental physics, but I work. I think that I just initiate different projects and implement them. So it's my work. If just to speak about the names, then I'm running like for now. I'm running Tech Ideas fund. So we pick up and scout for good teams for innovative ideas, and we give the money for them to start to prototype and go further with their startups. But also, I'm the co-founder of a brand new startup hub in Narva. It is in the border region of Estonia, so we are in like 150 meters from Russia. And this hub is called Objekt. So I'm this very strange person who is working in different angles of our country. Thanks God, our country is very small, only like 200 with something kilometers. I can cross the whole country, so I can start working in Tallinn and then I go to Narva. And that's basically what I do. And my hobbies are mainly other projects. So sometimes I have I don't know what is my main job and what is my hobbies. So everything is very mixed. But maybe what I really love to do when I want to be absolutely on different side, then I either make some sports or I'm drawing. So yeah, this is it.
Yeah, I know. I remember when we were in the States, you were always doing something, checking your emails, making some plans. It was, and you were always in the move, so you could never stop.
No, I can't. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was my first impression of you. Well, it's very interesting. Do you have any kind of a material, promo material for Objekt? It would be very interesting for people in Serbia to see, because the letters are the same. It's a Cyrillic letters, as I remember. Yeah? Do you have anything
I suppose that the easiest way is just to go to our website. So it's objekt.is. So it's Objekt is really not like object in English, but we wanted, Objekt. It's in Estonian and in Russian, because Narva is. So we have in Estonia we have this Russian speaking minority, but in Narva it is majority, because it's 97% of all the inhabitants of Narva are basically Russian language speakers. So that's why we wanted to play with this word, and also I really love it that Objekt. It's very often when you have some kind of building, like before the building is already done, it's an object where it's like construction object or whatever, some testing object, experimenting. So I thought, let it be something which can never ever be done, which should be something in the movement. But I really don't have anything, because
No, never mind. No, it just crossed my mind at the moment when you mentioned Objekt. I remember that it's the same letters.
We are still bootstrapping, and if you can imagine, just to build up this I don't know, stuff or this building and to equip it, we have raised 1.5 million. So basically, we really do not have anything, not any kind of cups or whatever. I have only hoodie what we bought for ourselves. We just written Objekt, and that's all. And then we just bought one more hoodie. So I have me and my co-founder, and we are styled it that on the back we have a big letter of the first letter of our names. So I have J, and he has A, and also we have bought one more hoodie and put K, and we give it was a present for our president Kersti Kaljulaid, because when it was the first opening of the Objekt, we invited president, so she has been in Objekt, and we have gifted her with this hoodie. So it's the only merch what we have.
You don't have anything else. That's good. That's basically sustainable. What do you plan to do with that fund? Do you have any? Is it going to be an incubator? Is it going to be accelerator? What's the? How do you want to use the funds? Do you want to just give it to some? Can you explain?
Yeah, I'm very. I mean, I know that the people who are talking to me and don't know me, they always a little bit mess up the fund and the object. The fund is Prototron, and I raise money there also, but I raise 200,000-300,000 per year, and this we give out for the startups. And the Objekt, I raised the money just to build up the building. So it was an old building from the old factory. Basically, it was a very big dining hall. So, and we have occupied the whole floor, build up everything there. And first we thought that maybe we need some incubator, but then when I started to think about what we want really to create, and just again about the background, this northeast of Estonia, where Narva is situated, is first of all, it's highly industrial region, and it was, the population in this region, in some cases, was you can imagine it was absolutely how to say, changed. For example, it was during the Second World War. Everybody were evacuated, but then they were never ever allowed to come back. The new people were brought in. So we have some communities which are like second generation, so they they don't have so well rooted. That's why they were rooted not to the place and land, but they were rooted to the factories, because they were brought to work for the factories. We have huge factories in this region. And it means that until now, we have the lowest level of entrepreneurship. We don't have any kind of creative industries, some big artists or musicians, because everybody were only working on the factories. So when we started to run activities about startups and about creative industries and some new way of making business in this region, then I basically thought that I just build up the platform, and we will be growing and making the community around it. So I want everybody to feel themselves very comfortable in these rooms. But I thought that I will be inviting other incubators, acceleration programs, funds, whatever, those who already know how to do stuff. They will come and they will, for example, work with their own programs on our platform. So, for example, we have in Estonia, maybe you have heard that Estonia is one of the highly startup-ish countries in the world.
Well, I know that you also have unicorn companies in Estonia.
Yes, we have 4 of them. So 4, yes, and we only 1.2 of inhabitants in Estonia, and we have 4 unicorns. Yes, it's absolute record. And we have a governmental association. It's called Startup Estonia. So everything what you would like to get to know about Estonian startups, you just put startupestonia.ee and you get everything. So for example, we have branch of Startup Estonia working also in Narva. Then we have a biggest and the oldest startup incubator from Tallinn. They are also working in Narva, so we have created a space for them, and they are running their own programs there. And from Monday we start to work with the main clean tech and green tech association in Estonia, who are working also with European EIT. It's like European Innovation something
European Innovation Technologies. I think that's the
EIT. So yes, these centers are everywhere all around Europe, and those who are working in Estonia with green tech and clean tech. So we start the programs from Monday in Narva. So it means that I don't need to create something new, but I would like to host everyone. And so if there is in Serbia some cool company or association or something who would like to enlarge themselves for Nordic countries or to Baltics or to Russia, then of course it will be, I hope that Objekt will be taken into consideration as a place.
Well, I hope that actually I know some people and I can connect them, or I can give your contact to them. So because they're basically dealing with circular economy and green tech, clean tech. So maybe you can cooperate on some level or in some way.
It's a pleasure.
Perfect. But was it the strategic decision of your government to I don't know, build a community that is that supports tech startups or technologies? I mean, Estonia is on a north, so you probably don't have agriculture or something like that.
Oh, we have.
But was that? I know that you have. But how come that the small country? You said it has 1.2 million citizens, and you have 4 unicorn companies. So was that a strategic decision to help to develop tech companies in Estonia?
We call the nowadays success we call Skype effect. And of course, like 20 years ago, our government, and I suppose a lot of other governments besides maybe San Francisco, haven't ever thought about unicorn startups and something like this. I just recently read that the first time in the magazine Forbes, the name of or term of startup was used in 1986. So it's not so old word. But the education was always a very big a key point of development of Estonia. So it was always like that the education is very valuable, and we have 3 big universities. One in Tartu, which is very academic and is one of the oldest ones in Europe. Another we have also in Tallinn, which is Tallinn Technical University, Taltech, and it was always very, very strong. And so basically we value a lot education, and then we have a lot of jokes why we have chosen the technology. So Estonians very like resilient. So persistence and resilience is like the same what is Estonian.
Equals Estonian.
Yes, and so technology and math is like one of the big points. It was always like this. For example, we have had a very good engineers for example in formulas, so in machines. We have had, for example, a really very, very big and very huge competence about oil shell technology, which is basically petroleum technology. So like it was always there. And again, about the jokes, we just believe that, in Estonia, because we are on the so north, so basically we have only 3 months of sunlight, and then already we have like very very short days during December, November, I don't know, January, February, March, only like 5 hours per day. We have something like sun, so we don't have anything to do, just to work, because it's very cold, it's very wetty, it's like wow. During the summer we have maybe like couple of weeks of good days. So today is one of them. That's why I'm very very.
You're using the
we're
nice
using
weather. Yeah.
absolutely, like the every minute what we have of the summer, and maybe also another point beside the education is when you want to make any kind of innovation, the cooperation with different sites, with government, with universities, with businesses, with different kind of sectors is absolutely crucial. It means never ever you can build anything new if you're only living in your own bubble. And because of our country is so small, I can reach president just in 2 calls. So it's like really we are very close to each other. I don't know. We don't think that our government is something very far away, because they are our neighbors. They're like, I've been learning with him. Oh, I was like chilling with him during my childhood. La la. So in this case, our society is rather flat. So we do not think that the government is something unreachable. So if we think that we need to, I don't know, change the law, or I don't know, we need to make some agreements with somebody for our business or whatever. So it's very common for us to go and to find different kind of connections and to put them together. That's why we have this Skype effect. It means that when Skype skyrocketed, sorry for these words, that and they became very famous, and then the first exit when they sold the Skype to PayPal, from first of all, this money and this competence, everything was on site, and they haven't disappeared. They haven't been anywhere far away. So they until now are working and helping and giving back to the society, to the community. And there are a lot of the stories and a lot of it's not even stories, this is how it goes. The new company, when they do something significant well, then they approach these guys who have been, done this path from zero, from some like couple of guys making some coding until a like very, very huge success. They know what the rocks are there, what the gaps are there, and they can lead them, and the new ones, and they can help them with connections, and they can very often even help them with mentoring, with investments, and so on. So the guys the same unicorns, for example, last year, it's everything mixed now in my head, but I think it was last year, maybe the 2018, but whatever. So for example, unicorns, they just put their money together and have created an educational fund. So this is a fund where you do some kind of new technology or new approach for education. You can apply and you can get the finances from that fund. And it's not state, but of course state also supports it, and there is a lot of support from the ministries, from the finances, from the education and science ministry, and from the Minister of Economy. They all now help to manage this fund. So very often the initiatives are coming from ourselves, and then we can find support from the government. For example, the Prototron, what I'm running, so this fund for the tech ideas, is basically initiated by the private company, but then university and Science Park. So the government via Science Park joined the initiative. Objekt in Narva is also my initiative, but I was working for it for 4 years, and then government also partly supported this initiative. So it's like education, resilience, and a very, very small country. So you can be a neighbor of your president.
Well, that's perfect. And that is actually refreshing to hear, because most of the time we hear stories that there is a huge gap between government and and its citizens. So it's not that easy for us to have that direct contact with the minister of some department. So it's very difficult for us to actually get to the to get information, to get funds, to get information for the first. That's the first step. When you have good and reliable information, then you can build your story up. Perfect. So if you have that direct and immediate contact with your government, how did they react once the COVID virus started to break? How did they communicate with citizens? How did they help small scale or middle-sized businesses to overcome? Or did you even had that problems with the economy?
Unfortunately, yes. I mean, our government, I don't know, everybody were a little bit, not a little bit, but they were shocked because the level of uncertainty was on the rise. So you cannot deal with the subject what you cannot absolutely predict or understand or even like assume like, oh, we can go like this. But I suppose that so in Estonia I still haven't my own position about this total lockdown and the total freedom. So I don't know, but we were closed under the lockdown, I suppose one of the first countries from the Baltics. So we closed our schools. I just came from Egypt. So I said, oh, okay, so I need to be at home. Oh, okay. So as you can see, now I have equipped, so it's the workspace of my son and I'm working here. So we have co-working space even now. Because from that time, I haven't ever been to my office. So, okay, it's just a joke. But yes, so we were under the lockdown very soon. We just I just think that nobody knew how to react, and that's why one of the like the easiest point maybe it was just lockdown, because then you can start to analyze and understand. I really like that rather soon it was I don't know how it will be the direct translation into English. Okay, but it was some kind of like expert committee where scientists were also engaged, and we even joked that at least our government listened to the scientists, so they were really like all the ears, like okay, so how you can predict the pandemic? Okay, if we have so this number of the coronavirus like positive tests, so what does it mean? Like what is the dynamic? So it was very nice to see that scientists felt themselves that they're extremely important.
Important. But were your media transparent enough with the information regarding COVID?
I think yes. I think we have a lot of. So it was basically almost every day there were special press conferences with the government. With the ministries, with Prime Minister mainly, who just announced the numbers, what the state, what we are gonna do. Then we have started to have these press conferences every week, and every week there were decisions like, do we make some easiest way, or we just go into the same way? Do we have some other restrictions, or we lose some restrictions? So it was like absolutely every week, and almost. And as you, of course, again our startups and again our ministry. If I'm not mistaken, it was somehow. So I was already the second week back, but I was under the lockdown, like self-isolation, because in Egypt, just the day I started to come back to Estonia, in Egypt they discovered this ship, in Kairos, with these Germans, and there is a lot of the COVID positives. So I said, okay, I will be on the self-isolation. But the second week, so the minister of IT, he called to our startup community and said we should do something because we believe in technology. So under the initiative of Minister of IT, our startup community in 3 days organized a huge online hackathon. And it was hackathon about, hack the crisis. So they looked for the ideas, for the solutions, for the rapid prototypes, for how to fight and how to live with this new situation. So from that hackathons, we have got a lot of different monitoring systems and platforms, so we can go and see about the number, about this COVID sense and blah blah blah, like all kind of stuff. And of course, there were a lot of discussions about education, about the distance learning, and but of course, the lockdown haven't. I don't know any country where lockdown would, bring extra money. So, unfortunately, I don't know. Maybe there are. So of course, all of our hospitality, tourism sector just crashed.
Died. I know, it's the same here.
Yes.
Creative industries, tourism sector, only maybe food production industry, agro industry, and maybe logistics, like delivery services. They are the only ones who made some money. Well, they didn't shut down, they continued to work. But creative industries, there are no concerts, there are no performances, there is nothing. So basically those sectors are at the low level.
Yep.
In Serbia. I don't know how is in Estonia. I suppose it's the same.
Absolutely the same, because because we have only 2 weeks of summer, so all of the events are only during the spring and autumn. So we just in March, at the end of March, if I'm not mistaken, the 20th, the date of the 20th, we traditionally have the biggest music event, which is like one of the best music festivals, like small festivals. It's Tallinn Music Week, and of course we canceled it. We canceled the flagship of our startup events, Latitude 59, which would be in the May, and so we canceled absolutely everything. I know about our creative industries, those like artists and theaters who are like government, like under the governmental supervision. They were at home, but they have got still their salaries, so they were very happy. Of course, all the independent filmmakers, theaters, small and medium musicians, like everything. So those who have not any kind of salary from, I don't know, conservatorium or some whatever
theater or whatever.
Yeah, so those who are just as we are, bootstrappers. Of course, they were just left at home. There were a lot of problems. Like it's unfortunately this is like not fair, but this is the market. For example, when small or independent musician would like, for example, to make a concert like via broadcasting, I don't know, in social media, for example, or Zoom, and he would like to charge some money, then can you imagine those who have like the biggest ones, who already have access to the state TV, they of course were like broadcasted for free, but they were paid by the station, national broadcasting. So it's like, okay, but you cannot do anything with this. You know, it's you choose to be independent, and it means if there is a crisis, then unfortunately you stay with yourself. But then we have had some other schemes for small and medium enterprises, but we have a huge support also for big, for example, Tallink is the company who are making this, they are also making, but so the main logistics between Tallinn and Helsinki. So these big ships are coming, and they are also holding the hotels and restaurants, so a lot, and they give workplaces for 5,000 people. So of course they have got huge money from government, just to keep these 5,000 people somehow
on salaries.
Yes. But for example, in my companies,
we call that potato. When there is nothing, we call that potato.
So I haven't got any potato from my government. Just be brave. I said okay. And in Objekt, so it is in Narva, because it's like not very. It's a little bit depressed region. Okay, it's the most depressed region in Estonia, but whatever. So the prices of real estate is very low, so we cannot earn money by real estate. So if we have co-working space and we have offices, but we do not earn our money by renting it out. We earn money only by events, programs, projects, and we have also multimedia center. So we have VR sets, computers, for cyber sport and so on. So, and we were the first who were locked down because this multimedia center was the same as casinos, and it means it's very not so convenient to clean the VR sets and computers and everything, which you like a lot of touch surfaces. So we were closed. We were closed from the day one, and we were opened. Like we were allowed to open us basically on the 1st July.
That's a long period of time. That's a really long period of time.
So it's just like, okay, because we were just in the beginning, and we have finished in January. We have finished one big project, and we have had some salaries. So from the 1st of February, we haven't had any salaries, and we planned to get salaries from the 1st of April. Because, in February, March is very windy, and the cost of the heating and so real estate is very expensive. So we just relocated money. And when we entered the crisis, and at that point we haven't had salaries, and the government said, "Oh, you don't need any kind of help for the salaries. Ciao, baka." And
so what did you do? How did you overcome that gap, an obstacle?
Of course, I have agreed.
Not just you personally, but other people in the same situation. Do you have any stories from your colleagues or from other persons in your life?
It's just like everyone just survived as he could. I mean, with my co-founder, we decided that we will keep low profile. So we just, made some papers. We have prepared some new projects. We have discussed a lot. But yes, we haven't seen each other. We didn't do anything. We even haven't done any kind of Zoom webinars, nothing, because I thought that it will be unfair if I just put my colleagues, to work, and I know that I don't know when I can pay them salaries. So I said, okay, we just we're just happy that we have Objekt. But for example, in Prototron, it means that in Prototron is another story, because we run the competitions, and it means that our workload is very wavy, and so only I, who is having the salary like year round, and the others are working with the contracts. They don't have salaries, so they're freelancers, and it's more comfortable for them. And we are always changing the activities and everything, so they also feel themselves better if they are just, giving me invoices. And it means for them the same. They were not eligible for any kind of help. So what we have done, we just decided that, of course, we decided not to cancel anything, but we reconstructed the whole process of Prototron and created the online Prototron. So it was harsh. We have postponed a little bit the deadlines, but we have managed. So it means that I could, and it means that I have had some money, and I raised a little bit more, and just like I could pay the invoices, so everybody were happy. So for example, Prototron, we were living before our screens, like from March until the June. So
I'm sorry to hear
No,
that. I'm very sorry to hear that. But it's also a part of a life and a business and the life of one business. So
can you imagine when we will have grandchildren? We will be, this with gray hairs, like in 50 years or 60. Then we come to the big stage and we'll be talking about our new ideas, which were born during the crisis of 2020.
Yeah, I know, but because we have enough time to think about or to imagine some new solutions. Can you tell me something about the name of one of your company is Prototron. What do you think about the word? What does the word prototype and prototyping means to you?
Of course, for me, it means that you are building up a product until the minimum. It's not a minimum viable product, but you are building up the certain part of the product to prove the hypothesis. Hypothesis. So,
Yes.
for example, if I just want to create a new mouse, then I just I don't know. I want it to be sleek. Then I just create the mock-up and test the hypothesis. Is it more comfortable to use such kind of mouse or not? So for me, it's prototyping. So prototyping, I really love it. I absolutely adore testing, and I absolutely in love now with design thinking. And I really start my project or idea or even small event. I start from the problem. I really love this dynamic, that, and my teams already know that I never ever allow to decide to make a decision before we call or approach some certain key person. For example, if I want to, to check against something, I will call somebody. I will invite somebody to test it, to try it, and it means that the prototyping, allows you to be very grounded to the market. I have seen like recently very nice video, which was like two fighters. One was very active, before the fighting he has shown a lot of tricks and how he can jump and what he can do. And it's really, when we have our new idea, we're so proud, we're so involved, like, it's the best one. Yes, and we can do this and this and this and this. And then come market and make it and you get lost everything, because you can forget some certain side or some certain point, and the market will say, what is this? So I really believe in prototyping, and that's why maybe I really believe in Prototron. So really, like, we always start with problem. I would say that it was so funny because in February the Prototron became the first ever time it became international fund. So we are now working in Estonia and in Latvia, and we were
congratulations.
And I was already stressed about all this logistics and how I will be coming and how we will organize and all this everything, to be equally visible in Estonia and Latvia. And thanks Christ, I was visible in my behind the screen, and everybody were absolutely happy. So now we think that we go further. We go further to Lithuania also, and I think we will not create some very solid offline events. We will be just again. So we learned a lot, and now we are really happy with the format what we have developed, and it's very comfortable for us. So I have found the benefits from the crisis.
Perfect. Well, I know that you are very you have positive attitude towards life and towards business, so I don't think that this COVID thing actually hurt you or made a damage. I think that you just have some new ideas, probably have some new ideas.
A lot. Unfortunately, a lot.
But no, fortunately a lot.
No, every time when you have an idea, and if you know how it should be done, then you start to do it, and then again you are like, can I sleep? Can I just sleep and eat? So yeah, in this case, no, but it's everything. The complaining is one of the. I suppose it's some kind of flirting, When just
that's interesting.
I'm so tired. Yes, I have so many projects, but no, everything is fine. Absolutely.
Perfect. So, can you tell us something about girls in tech in Estonia?
My favorite topic.
Yes.
So again, if we come back to our education and our industrial region, even especially in my region, so it's not any kind of anything very special. If the girls are going to study chemistry, physics, mathematics, and so on, so it's common. It's, I suppose, the same common when as it was for 50-60 years ago for US, when computer wasn't a computer machine, but it was the name of profession of those women who have been making math to send the satellites to the Earth, to the space, not Earth. So I suppose it's something the same for us, but the problems are starting when you look into the career outlines, and the possibilities. So unfortunately, until now in Estonia, it's not so many of women who would be in the top management in the factories. We have some ministers, women. We have our president, she's a woman, so we are very proud and happy about it. But basically the whole society are talking you that that you should be at home, family, blah blah blah, and only then you should think about some other perspectives. And technology, unfortunately, or the management, it requires dedication. If you want to achieve something in technology or in science, we can take the technology as something like a science. You should be deeply involved in what are you doing. Otherwise you cannot. I mean, it's really immersive work. So it's not the work as in the shopping mall when you're coming, you have your hours, and you go in and you just forget about everything what's going. Okay, in some case you can forget about it, but your work and your the requirement of your to be focused and dedicated is limited in time. So you can make your work and then you go home and then you are working home, dinner, supper, children, husband, la la la. But when you are making management, when you are in tech, when you are coding, when you are working with investments, unfortunately your time is not so limited, but not the limited, but the dynamic of your time is different. And this is the problem, that this is absolutely acceptable for men and it's not acceptable for women. Okay, of course I have even personal stories about this non-acceptable, that last year I divorced from my husband because of my work, because I was in another way of working. And it doesn't mean that women, and also, what also a big limitation for women is because you are living in a man's world. This is the problem, that all the processes, everything is created for men. Even if you think about very easy stuff, for example, there is a statistics that if there is car accident, more women will die. The higher risk to women to die. Why? Very easy. Because all the safety equipment in the car are created by the mannequin, who is the tall as a man. His proportion of the body is a man, and he is 80 kilos. Sorry, I'm a little bit more than 50. And if we hit, no any safety bag will save me, because I have absolutely another momentum. And
yeah, I know. It's perfectly logical now when you said it. Yeah.
And it's absolutely the same in every different spheres. So it's really not any kind of feministic lozung, that it's men's world. No, it's really because all the standards are by the man who is 80 kilos. Come, show me and this. I know that they're making the tests now, the recent years. They are making this mannequin 60 kilos or 65, something like this. But the body is still men's one. We have in another places, we have all these parts, what we have, this different stuff.
Yes, we have some different.
We have some different parts. Yeah. So you just can imagine this is this world that and if you just think and reflect it to other spheres, then you can understand that it's so when you're, for example, breastfeeding. Okay, in Estonian, our hipsters and startups, of course, it's another story already, and we have rather good amount of female co-founders in startups. So it's going very, very well now, and in some cases, but in fact in industries or in some traditional businesses, it's the requirements are not any you should always choose. You are either you are at home or you are at the work, and it's not fair because we are absolutely accepting that men are having children and spend time with them, and then are coming and they want to spend time with their wives, and then they come and spend their times with friends, and then they go to some kind of work trips and so on. So we accept it, but we don't accept it from the woman's side, that it can also be somehow another way. So it's basically it. And it all brings. I started from the education and came to the management, which is, as you understand, for me is like very painful, because I always should fight for myself, like when there is some kind of decision making that. But in education, and we have this specific fields where we have a lot of women. For example, chemistry is very woman based in Estonia. And again, it's if you think again historically, those who have been working at least in chemical production in Estonia, in oil shale, for example, these operational workers, they have been also women. Why? Because it was very cheap labor. So it was, for example, when you extract the oil shale, you get oil shale which you can use for the oil shale production, or like electricity and so on, oil and blah, blah. And you have limestones, and you should separate them. And always this work, you can imagine, it's stones. It's nothing. It's just stones. They are heavy, and they were separated by hand by only women. It was very heavy and very cheap work, and no one man would like to do it. And for example, if so in the minings, in the oil shale minings, if man was, for example, was drunk during the work, he was punished by working on this separation. So
working. I know that's very sad, and I hope that it's going to change. So Jana, we actually came to the end of our conversation.
It cannot be true.
Yeah.
I just started.
Is there any? I just thought. Me too. I know. Is there any message that you would like to share with people in Serbia and people in the world? What I know that throughout the conversation, I know that education is a starting and ending point. But is there any other keyword, or is there any other message that you would like to just share with us?
As I assume there should be a majority of women who is listening to this podcast, or like, then I really would like to suggest everybody to be so ambitious that you are a little bit ashamed about it. But so this is when you feel that you are a little bit ashamed, it's okay. So this is this point. This is this point when you should feel yourself comfortable. And also you asked about the COVID and about this pandemic, and this is my main point for everyone in all of the teams and everywhere now, that we cannot think that we will be back. I don't want to get 2019 or 2018 back, never ever. Just challenge your crises and use them, because they are really the best teachers. You can always find the education for yourself from every crisis. Like, you cannot imagine 2020 and it was a disaster. Divorce, all these workflows, big debts. Like, when you are by yourself, the personally are responsible for 1 million euro. It's like, it's sometimes it's a little bit harsh, to go to sleep. Like, what am I gonna do? But at the same time, all these crises will teach you, and then you put you ambitious, and then you look at yourself in the mirror and said, okay, I'm so beautiful that I'm a little bit ashamed. I'm so smart that I'm a little bit ashamed of it, but just a little bit. And I go further, and I don't want to have the yesterday, because I have only today, and much more better. I have the very best today, and tomorrow seems to be much better. So just go forward.
Thank you. You shared very smart words and wisdom from your own experience. Thank you for your time. Thank you for accepting to participate in this project.
With a pleasure.
And I wish you all the luck. And to start with the new projects very soon. So, dear people, we just spoke to Jana from Estonia, and thank you for staying with us. And if you want, you can always find us on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And if you like it, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, Jana, once again, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to see you, to talk to you, and to really, really absorb the wisdom you have.
Oh, thank you. So I hope to see you in Estonia very soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Ciao.
Mwah.
Mwah.